Khan, Shalom, family.
Shalom, family. Brother Shemariah.
Khan, Brother Nasi on the scene. Shalom. Right. First and foremost, we want to give all praise and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh. We do so in the name of His only begotten, His Son, Yahweh Shah Mashiach, the righteous. Right. We the saints upholding commandments back at you again with another beautiful breakdown through the Spirit. And you see the topic, man. When to keep your mouth shut. We're going to get into this thing. We're going to let the room build up, right? Throw some sevens in the chat. If you can hear us, throw some shalawams out there. If you're new to the channel, please, Baba Kashar, like, share, and subscribe. When you come in the building, like, share, and subscribe. It's going to be a beautiful breakdown through the Spirit, Lord willing. Pray that everybody's edified. Right, you got something out?
La'ah. I'm just, looking at some things, I say.
First, also, hey, shout out to all the saints scattered abroad, man. Shout out to the elders, right, at the house of David, right, that's been putting in this work. Double honors to them brothers, man. For them to be laboring in this truth, therefore that we might have an understanding, man. So the water to the elders, man. And we had a breakdown last week, man, dealing with order, right? And that's what's kind of gonna lead into, or segue, if you will, into when to keep your mouth shut. It's sometimes when you should speak, and sometimes when you should keep silent, right? But you got to have a discernment. So we're gonna go into some precepts, speaking on those things and edifying the Akim to know when to speak and when not to speak, right? But we're gonna get into it, man. We're gonna get into it. We're not gonna further ado. Let's go ahead and get it, man. Right? When to keep your mouth shut. The first precept of the day is gonna be Deuteronomy 7 and 6. Right? We're gonna go straight to the law. Right? Deuteronomy 7 and 6.
17 and 6, yes.
It's kind of Salakia, 17 and 6. Deuteronomy 17 and 6. You know, I was in that the old Hebrew classic mode, man.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Right.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 17 and verse 6. At the mouth of two witnesses or three witnesses, Shalakia. At the mouth of two witnesses or three witnesses, or shall he that is worthy of death be put to death. But at the mouth of one witness, he shall not be put to death.
Right. So this is ultimately talking about judging a brother, right, dealing with idolatry, right? If you was caught in idolatry, right, you can be put to death. But it was an order and a process of how to go about that thing. It wasn't a he said, she said type of deal, right? You had to, it says, what does it say? In the mouth of two or three witnesses shall a matter be established, right? So you got to get the whole conclusion of the matter, right, before you go and try to judge a situation, before you speak on something that you don't know anything about. That's cool, right?
Hey, a mighty example of that, this particular situation would be the history of Susanna. That's a great display of this particular law and how they handled it, because once they had the witnesses, they brought those witnesses forward and their stories didn't match up. So that's why multiple witnesses are needed, because you can be wrongfully putting somebody to death, right? So that's a great example of where this particular law is exercised, right? Go ahead, King.
Hey, that's a good example. Also, I was sharing with my little man about the, how Solomon, he came on the scene as a king, right? He had to put his wisdom on display, right? But he had to hear the conclusion of the whole matter. These two women bringing one baby to him, and both of them claiming this to be their baby, their child. He said, well, what can I do? So he said, cut the baby in half, and you got to see where the cards fall to see what the judgment may be, right? We're gonna keep it rolling through the Spirit. Next precept.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 18 and verse 13. The book of Proverbs, chapter 18 and verse 13. And it reads, he that answereth a matter before he heareth it,
You see that?
it is folly and shame unto him.
Right? Because you don't know what you're talking about, right? You don't even know whose sides you should be. You can be being a respecter of persons, and your person that you have respect unto could be is or possibly in the wrong. Right? What does that say out?
It says, he that answereth a matter before he heareth it, it is folly and shame unto him.
And this is wisdom too, even when you have children, right? Sometimes it's a no nonsense. Everybody gonna get it, right? But sometimes you gotta hear the conclusion of the matter with the children. All right, what happened? All right, what happened? Or even that's how the ops do it, or 12, right? They pull you on the scene. You see it in first 48, right? Brothers, they bring two brothers in, both of them trumped up charges, but they separate them. Hey, what's the story?
Right.
Hey, what you got?
And that's the exact situation I was alluding to in the history of Susanna.
We might have to get
the same story, but when they split them up, the details vary, right? You know what I'm saying? And that's how you know that it was a false story, right? Accusations, right? So like your brother was saying with children, right? He did it, now he did it, and then you split them up. And brothers either roll on each other or the stories don't add up, or it's another child that got, they say it's three sides to a story. Your side, their side, and the truth. Right? You know what I'm saying? And when you separate somebody, the truth tends to come out, right?
That's right.
I like what you were saying. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, that's spot on, because we got
I had all my babies this weekend, so you know what I'm saying? Like, go ahead. I know.
Right. Yeah. So we gotta keep, and again, Israel, man, we bring these things out because these things is real life that happen to us, man, on a daily basis. Right. So we gotta apply wisdom, man. Right. The next precept is in Ecclesiastes.
I'm there.
The
book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12 and verse 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter.
Of the what?
Of the whole matter.
See that? Go ahead.
Fear Yahweh and keep his commandments.
Right.
Even on this is the whole duty of man.
Even on the true perspective, us, when we out on the highways or the byways, you might be at a Kroger or wherever you might be about to display the gospel, if you will. Automatically they say, oh, you're a Hebrew Israelite, you're a black Hebrew Israelite. Automatically they already have a stigmatism, if you will, or a preconceived notion of what our stance or our premise is.
Right.
You have to hear the whole conclusion of where we come from. The scriptures tell you all Israel is not Israel, right? SUC could be totally different and are different from some other camps or some other congregations. So hear our premise first before you go and try to shut this thing down, right? There's some more on that.
I'm gonna read this last part. I'm gonna read this 14 too, because this is good. For Yahweh shall bring every work into judgment, whether every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil, right? So even with these different perspectives that someone may be holding or harboring, you can't get it. It's not going to leave the Most High, right? You can't make create a story or an alternate end and run that past the Most High as if he don't know the truth, right? You know what I'm saying? It's not going to work on him because he's going to bring all those works into judgment ultimately, right? But go ahead.
Hey, that's a beautiful point. The scriptures tell you that his angels go to and fro throughout the earth, man. So they're recording these things. Right, we're going to keep it rolling through the spirit. Next precept is going to be in the book of Job.
I'm already there.
Job 13 and 5.
This is the book of Job, chapter 13 and verse 5. Oh, that you would altogether hold your peace.
What do you say?
Hold your peace.
Hey, sometimes you got to tell, hey, hold your peace, man. Be quiet, right? You don't keep going out.
And it shall be your wisdom.
You see that? Sometimes when you be quiet, sometimes the smartest person in the room is the most quietest one, man. He's just peeping. He's just sitting in there peeping out the scenery. right? That's wisdom, right? I think the scripture I should have found that it says you should it's in the Gospels. It talks about you shouldn't he who doesn't speak in many words is wise, right? You don't have to say a lot of words to get your point across.
I think I got that. Hold on.
You got that? Right. That's Job 13:5 where we at right now. And we're gonna get 13:2 as well. While the brother looks for that, I'm gonna get the 13.
This is Sirach 3:29. It says, "Be not hasty in thy tongue, and in the deeds slack and remiss." I don't think that's the one you wanted, but I think I know where it's at.
That's a good one too. You know, you can't be hasty to just start. You know, that's a part of the culture that we have created, right? It's called pop off, right? That's what we call it, man. Or some you want to just pop off at the mouth, you don't even know what's going on, right? And the scriptures tell you you can't be hasty in that, man, right? You can't be hasty. So that was Sirach 3:29. You found that out?
I mean, I found one. It's a good one.
What you got?
It's going right into what we're talking about. So I'm gonna bring it out. This is Sirach 7:14.
Okay.
It says, "Use not many words in a multitude of elders."
There you go.
"And make not much babbling when thou prayest."
Right? I was looking for
that's a good point too, right? Don't speak a lot of vanity, vain words, and make much babbling when you're talking to the Most High. Be choicey, be decisive and precise with your words, right? You know what I'm saying? Make sure you know exactly, you know what I'm saying, what you're saying, and don't just continue to speak vainly as if the more you say, the better your prayer is, right?
Because Salaki, we already the Most High, the scriptures tell you the Most High already know your heart. Right. So he don't really just want the theatrics. He tells you that in Matthew 6 about how to pray, right? You shouldn't be praying out in the open like the Sadducees and the Pharisees, but you find your prayer closet, you go there and you throw your arms up to the Most High and you keep it rolling through the Spirit.
I got a precept, just land me back in on this point, right? And this has a lot to do with pride and vanity as well. But this is an account that I bring up before, but I like to go to it. But this particular topic that we're referencing, you'll see how it displays that. This is Luke 11:18. And I'm gonna start at Salaki. This is Luke 18 and verse 10. Luke 18 and verse 10. It says, "Two men went up into the temple to pray, the one a Pharisee and the other a publican. The Pharisee stood and prayed thus with himself," right? "Yahweh, I thank thee that I am not as other men are, extortioners, unjust, adulterers, or even as this publican. I fast twice a week. I give tithes of all that I possess." And the publican, standing afar off, would not lift up so much as his eyes unto heaven, but smote upon his breast, saying, "Yahweh, be merciful to me, a sinner." So in few words, right? He let me finish this out. Verse 14. "I tell you, this man went down to his house justified rather than the other. For everyone that exalted himself shall be abased, and he that humbleth himself shall be exalted." So in few words, this man was justified in the eyes of the Most High God, right? And much babbling, the Pharisees has gave the sacrifice of fools, right? Made a fool of himself, right? Without being knowledgeable or understanding that the Most High already knows what's on your heart. So this publican, being transparent and real with himself and the Most High, was justified more so than the Pharisees. I yield. All right, go ahead.
Good point. What was that Sirach 7 that you had called earlier?
All right, 7:14.
7:14. Right. And then we had that Job 13:13. If we can get that one more time. Who's at 13:5? Right.
You want 13 too? It's a lot.
Right. When to speak, when to hold your peace, right? We got to get an understanding on this thing, right? The scriptures break it down.
And the Most High give reference of when to hold your peace and hold your tongue amongst men. surely you should do that when speaking to him.
Con.
Right? You know what I'm saying? This is Job 13:13, and it reads,
Come on.
Let's start at 11. It says, shall not his excellency make you afraid, and his dread fall upon you? Your remembrances are like unto ashes, your bodies to bodies of clay. Hold your peace. Let me alone, that I may speak, and let come on me what will.
Right. And that's what we got to, sometimes you got to tell when you come into this truth, man. I don't know if you should be yeah, that's of the devil, right? Them black Hebrew Israelites, that's not the truth. Hey, hold your peace, man. Let me, and this is what I'm seeking. If I'm seeking knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, leave me the hell alone, man. And whatever's gonna befall me, let it befall me. That's what Job was telling him, right?
I got a precept for that.
The scriptures tell you, man, let every man be convinced in his own mind. Sometimes you got to get him a sharp rebuke. Go ahead with your precept, Pop.
Con, this is Proverbs 13:3. Is that on there? All right.
Con, go ahead, bring it up.
I don't see it. Con, this is Proverbs 13:3. He that keepeth his mouth keepeth his life, but he that openeth wide his lips shall have destruction. Right?
Keep going, right?
Keep going.
Oh, I'm saying, go ahead.
Oh, con, right? You gotta be mindful. It says in another place in Proverbs that life is in the tongue, right? So you gotta be mindful and choosy of your words that you use, because with those words, hey, you can speak things into existence. You can speak curses, speak blessings, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot of these we go back into the that's powerful. If we go back into the law, right? When Moses gave the account to the children of Israel, what did they say?
All that you have told us we will do.
We will do. They said that. So now you, with your mouth, you've acknowledged and entered into this covenant, right? You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, with that, you got to be mindful of what you say and what you speak, because the Most High is not slack to remember the things that you've made and the covenant that you've made with him, the oath that you've given, right? I yield, King. Go ahead.
I got that precept that you was referencing. It was on here. This is Proverbs chapter 18 and 21, right? Proverbs 18 and 21. And it reads, death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. Right. So we got to understand that what you speak, and that's what we try to tell the brothers, and we try to be mindful when we deliver the gospel. We got to make sure that when we speaking about this truth, man, we got to make sure that our speech is seasoned with that salt of grace, man.
That's right.
We can't just always be out here with the slasher dasher Freddy spirit, right? Trying to slay people all the time. You got to be out here to cut, not just to kill, but to heal. You know what I'm saying?
We know this word is a two-edged sword, man. And it's a lot of things that can come to pass by the tongue, and you can condemn yourself as well. So you got to make sure that you're mindful with how you use this word, man, and surgical, and acknowledge that that this is the Most High's reference and His will be done. So you got to be very, very choosy of how you handle His children, how you talk to them, right? You know what I'm saying? I yield. Go ahead.
You said this is Hebrews 4 and 12, right? Okay. Hebrews chapter 4 and verse 12, and it reads, "For the word of the Most High is quick and powerful and sharper than a two-edged sword, piercing even to dividing asunder of the soul and spirit and of joints and marrow, and is a discerner of thoughts and intents of the heart." Right? So you can really tell how somebody really feel about you when they speak things up. And it's a lot of worldly sayings that come to mind. Loose lips sink ships. Right? It's another one say, You done stuck your foot in your mouth.
Right.
When you know, because when you speak something, you can't pick those words back up and put them in your mouth, man.
Mm-hmm.
You don't spoke those things, they now have weight. And we have to be mindful of that. And it's true.
I got a precept, bro. I'm gonna read this. I'm gonna let you break it down though. This is Sirach 28. I'm gonna read 13 through 18, but I'm gonna let you break it down. Sirach 28, 13 through 18. This is good, right? It says, curse the whisperer and double-tongued.
Right, a whisperer is a talebearer. We're gonna get into that too. Keep going on.
Curse the whisperer and the double-tongued, for such have destroyed many that were at peace. A backbiting tongue had disquieted many and driven them from nation to nation.
Right, a talebearer, a backbiter, a babbler. Right, somebody can be at peace and you don't whisper something. They've been going about their day. Now you don't put something on somebody else's spirit. You don't mess up their whole damn day. For what? Because you just can't hold your peace. Right?
That's right. It says, strong cities had to pull down and overthrown the houses of great men. A backbiting tongue had cast out virtuous women and deprived them of their labors.
Right. And that goes on in the truth. Girl, you heard what? Man, we don't got time for that here in Israel, man. We trying to get up out of here, man. If you've been told something, man, hold your peace. Keep that close to your vest. Right? Go ahead,
Verse 16. Whoso hearkeneth unto it shall never find rest and never dwell quietly. Here's the meat. The stroke of the whip maketh marks in the flesh, but the stroke of the tongue breaketh the bones. You see that? You can cause much more damage with your mouth than you can with your hands, than you can with a weapon, right? Because those things can heal, but those cuts that come from the mouth, the tongue, hey, you can cut through somebody's soul with these words, man.
What they say? There's another worldly saying. It's a lot of them. It's crazy. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. That's a damn lie.
That's
according to the precept. That's a lie. Words can hurt, they can kill, and they can heal, man.
Hey, that's something the heathen came up with. I'm led to believe that. You know what I'm saying? Verse 18. Many have fallen by the edge of the sword, but not so many as have fallen by the tongue. Because you can speak life into somebody, man. You can really uplift your brother when he's going through it. You can pour into him, right? You know what I'm saying? With words of encouragement, uplifting, love, or you can speak hate into somebody. You can speak, you can straight dismantle somebody's character. You can straight pick apart their mental capacity, right? You know what I'm saying? Just by being malicious with your words, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna jump somewhere and then I'm gonna hand it out to you. All right, this is good. I'm gonna jump to verse 25. It says, and weigh thy words in a balance, and make a door and bar for thy mouth. Watch what you say.
You gotta bridle your tongue, man.
Con, that's right. I yield on that.
Got a quick precept. I was looking it up. Luke 12 and 12, real quick through the spirit. Luke 12 and 12. The water.
Book of Luke, chapter 12 and verse 12. Luke chapter 12 and verse 12. It says, for the Holy Ghost shall teach you in the same hour what ye ought to say.
You see that? Sometimes you gotta humble down and know something rash done happened, some dirt done got kicked up, right? You done got into an altercation, a spit bat, what do you call it? A
spit battle,
a spit battle, if you will, spit boxing, right? You gotta go to the Most High and ask him, hey, Yahweh, please give me the words to say or speak on these things, right? You don't want to be too hasty to speak on something when you can't redeem those words back, if you will. So start back at the top on that, Luke 12 and 12.
It says, "For the Holy Ghost shall teach you in the same hour what ye ought to say."
Mm-hmm.
Keep going.
Come.
Salat. I dropped it. And one of the company said unto him, Master, speak to my brother, that he divide the inheritance with me. And
So
he
like
said
we can
unto
yield
him,
right there. We can yield right there. But I
okay.
was just showing you that through the Spirit, Israel, is that we need to make sure that the Holy Spirit is speaking through us, man, and not our vain own thoughts. We're not speaking out of our own belly.
Okay.
We're gonna keep it rolling through the Spirit.
The Sirach, I got that Sirach 11:7.
Come, the water.
The book of Sirach, I got you, King. 11:7. Book of Sirach, chapter 11 and verse 7. And it reads, blame not before thou hast examined the truth.
Right.
Understand first and then rebuke.
That's wisdom, right? Understand first, then rebuke. Right. Blame not before you have heard the matter. Right. We're gonna keep it rolling.
And they need to understand that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You need to understand the whole matter first and don't be so hasty to condemn. Our people, that's something that's a stigmatism in our community, right?
You gotta do the legwork, man. Do the detective work.
Yeah, man. Like absolutely. Right. Have a full understanding before you make don't have a preconceived notion. Have a full understanding before you judge the matter.
Because
Verse
if
8.
you don't, then if you don't, then you will appear to be a fool. Right.
Answer not before thou hast heard the cause. Neither interrupt man in the midst of their talk.
Mm-hmm.
Strive not in a matter that concerneth not thee not, and sit not in the judgment with sinners.
Mm-hmm.
My son, meddle not with many matters. For if thou meddle much, thou shalt not be innocent.
Mm-hmm.
If thou follow after, thou shalt not obtain, neither shalt thou escape by fleeing.
Right. So the Most High trying to save you from some chastisement, some embarrassment, right, and of you appearing to be a fool. Right. So you gotta hold your peace. Right. Ecclesiastes 5:1.
I got a quick precept, King. This is Acts 25. I'm gonna start at 5. Acts 25. I'm gonna start at 5. It says, "Let them therefore," he said, Salakia, "let them therefore," said he, "which among you are able, go down with me and accuse this man, if there be any wickedness in him." And when he had tarried among them more than 10 days, he went down unto Caesarea. And the next day, sitting on the judgment seat, commanded Paul to be brought. And when he was come, the Jews which came down from Jerusalem stood round about and laid many and grievous complaints against Paul, which they could not prove. While he answered for himself, neither against the law of the Jews, neither against the temple, nor yet against Caesar have I offended anything at all. But Festus, willing to do the Jews a pleasure, answered Paul and said, wilt thou go up to Jerusalem and there be judged of these things before me? Then said Paul, I stand at Caesar's judgment seat, where I ought to be judged. To the Jews have I done no wrong, as thou very well knowest. For if I be an offender or have committed anything worthy of death, I refuse not to die. But if there be none of these things whereof these accuse me, no man may deliver me unto them. I appeal unto Caesar. So here you go to the damn Salakia, the Jews trying to put Paul in the hot seat and get him to drawing all these false accusations about him, but they couldn't prove any of it, right? So Paul was saying, like, look, if y'all gonna condemn me right here, right now. Y'all brought me to Caesar, right? Y'all have y'all accusation that y'all making. Bring your proof, right? You know what I'm saying? Let's get me judged right now. But if you can't do that, hey man, y'all need to let me go. And I'm not going to go get judged by the Jews. Because if I didn't do nothing wrong here, I didn't do nothing wrong there. There's no point, right?
And that's why he was saying, so like that's why he said, hey, I sit at the seat at the judgment seat of Caesar.
Right.
Caesar for you, and Yahweh did the same thing with Pontus. Pontus like, y'all saying a lot about this brother, but I don't see it. I'm gonna wash my hands up.
That's right, bro.
Yeah.
Right, because you gotta prove all things, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get that Ecclesiastes you was one with Salakia.
Kind. But the scriptures tell you that, hey, prove all things. Was that 1 Thessalonians 5:21 on down?
That's right. This is Ecclesiastes 5 and verse 1. Mm-hmm. It says, keep thy foot when thou goest to the house of Yahweh, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools.
You see that?
For they consider not that they do evil. Be not rash with thy mouth, and let not thine heart be hasty to utter anything before Yahweh. For Yahweh is in heaven, and thou upon the earth. Therefore, let thy words be few.
Let thy what?
Let thy words be few.
Come on.
Jumping to now I'm gonna keep reading. I'm gonna stop at 6. For a dream cometh through the multitude of business, and a fool's voice is known by the multitude of words.
You see that? Read on.
When thou vowest a vow unto Yahweh, defer not to pay it. For he has no pleasure in fools. Pay that which thou hast vowed. Better is it that thou shouldest not vow than that thou shouldest vow and not pay.
We say that all the time. It's better for you to have not have known than to know and not do it. It's better for you to have not even vowed a vow, or even spoke those words, right? Whether it's to the Most High or to your brother.
That's right.
Right? To not come through on that thing. In the ancient days, man, your word was bond, man.
Hey, man, it still is now.
Because
it still should be now.
But and that's a kind of term that we ran with back in the day. Word is bond. You know what I'm saying? But we use it facts, right?
Right.
Right. Are they? Are you gonna hold fast to those words? Right.
Another one that we use now when we know brothers, it ain't facts. Cap.
Cap.
You know what I'm saying? Or my brother Yasha would say merch.
That's a new one for me, all right.
Hey, it's new for me too, bro. Y'all know where y'all should get it from, bro. Verse 6. Suffer not thy mouth to cause thy flesh to sin. Neither say thou before the angel that it was an error. Wherefore should Yahweh be angry at thy voice and destroy the work of thine hands?
Because the scriptures too tell you, man, out of the heart the mouth speaks.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? I remember back in the day when we was youngest, and you kind of be making up words. And you say a cuss word or a quote unquote cuss word, and your parents look at you with the evil eye, like, "Boy, what you doing?" And you tell them what? Oh, it slipped out.
Right.
What the scriptures say? Don't tell the angel that it was an error. No, brother, that was in your heart. You know what you said. You said it. Right. So you got to be careful, man, what you're saying in this truth, man, in everyday aspect. You got some more in Ecclesiastes 5 out? Or you done?
No, that's it.
We're going to keep it rolling. 1 Timothy 2 and 11, right?
It's the book of 1 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 11. And it reads, let the woman learn in silence with all subjection. But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man.
You see that?
But to be in silence.
So even in the church place, and even during different matters, right, concerning different topics, the woman should keep silent, right? What the Rock say, Dwayne Johnson, I said you got to know your role and shut your mouth, right? And that's in all meekness, right? I got a clip, right? I want to put on, I always want Jake love visuals. So I'm going to share this clip real quick through the spirit.
Jake requires sign.
Check this out. All right, this is for the GOT fans, right?
Grace. I would rise, but...
Do you know what your wife has done?
She did nothing I did not command.
Who'd have thought she had it in her?
By what right dare you lay hands on my blood?
I am the king's hand.
You were the king's hand.
Peace,
You shall now be held accountable.
Will both of you shut your mouths?
Right? The scriptures say, hold your peace, man. Right? This is the king speaking. This is his wife. And then you have his hand, his right hand man, right? And he caught in between the twixt of them. Right? But he already told them, both of you, hold your peace. Let's watch.
Catelyn will release Tyrion, and you'll make your peace with Jaime.
He butchered my men.
Lord Stark was returning drunk from a brothel when his men attacked Jaime.
Quiet, woman.
Jaime.
Hey, that's the second time, right? First, what was that? 1 Timothy 2:11.
Has fled the city. Give me leave to bring him back to justice.
I took you for a king.
Hold your tongue.
You see that? That's her tongue is rash, right? Rob Stark, he should be telling her that's cap, man. Right? Watch this. Oh, that's merch.
He's attacked one of my brothers and abducted the other. I should wear the armor and you the gown.
Oh, no. Oh, wait a minute. Hey, she told him I should wear the gown. He said, you should wear the gown and I the crown, man. Right? That's uncalled for, man. You got to know your role, man. Yeah, that's the king, man.
Hey, clamorous woman is a bottomless pit, man.
Kind, man. Right?
I got a precept for that with the king speaking and whatnot, right?
And Salakia, this is a disclaimer. Hey, brothers,
don't smack your woman, bro. We not down with these are heathens that we are displaying here. Keep in mind, right?
Kind. All praises, man.
This is Proverbs 23:1. It says, when thou sittest to eat with a ruler, consider diligently what is before thee, and put a knife to thy throat if thou be a man given to appetite. It's not saying literally slash your throat. It's saying understand where you at, understand who you talking to, and you know, tread lightly, right? You know what I'm saying? I get on that, King.
Right. Next, what was that out that you brought up? Proverbs 23:1.
Proverbs 23:1-2.
Next precept. We're gonna keep it rolling. 1 Peter.
It's the book of 1 Peter, chapter 2, verse 22. Yes. It says, "Who did no sin, neither was guile found in his mouth."
Right. This is referencing Yahushua Mashiach, the righteous. Right. And this is a disclaimer saying, hey, Yahushua had no guile in his mouth. And us we are being followers of Hamashiach Yahushua, who the world calls Christ, that has to be the same thing with us, man. We got to be above reproach. We got to make sure that there's nothing that someone can say ill will about Shem or Nasi, according to them being Israelites, man. We already got a preconceived notion, if you will, about the Hebrew Israelites, right? They got us on, Southern Poverty Law Center as a hate group. Right. It's just you just got to be mindful of this truth, man, and how you carry yourself in this walk, as did Yahushua. Kind. Some more on that out. That was through 23.
That was just 22. It's 23.
Who,
when he was reviled, reviled not again. When he suffered, he threatened not, but committed himself to him that judgeth righteously.
You see that? We're gonna keep it rolling, but Matthew 5:25, man, the scriptures tell you to agree with your adversary quickly, man. That's when when you got to know when you behind enemy's lines, there's nothing you can say, or you just gonna be talking out of the side of your neck, man. So go ahead, agree with your adversary, as the brother Job said. Hey, let whatever befall me. Right. Let's see what this is Isaiah 53, right? Of Isaiah prophesying about Hamashiach coming, right?
Isaiah 53 and verse 7. Isaiah 53 and verse 7. He was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth.
You see that? Sometimes you gotta just hold your peace, man. Right? Receive the judgment. Right. And that's how, and even us, man, when we have committed, and we tell brothers all the time, when you come into this truth, yes, we have the gift of repentance, but whatever you set in motion prior to this truth, whatever sin or iniquity that you done set off or you done lit a fuse on, it's gonna be consequences of that. Right. And you can't, just because you found out you were Israelite and you just start keeping the laws and commandments, the Most High is not just gonna snap his fingers and take away that judgment that you caused prior to the truth. So you got to be mindful of that too as well. Right. You made your bed, you gotta lie in it. You got something else?
I'm gonna finish this out, and I want to show an account of Yahushua doing it. This is Isaiah 53:7. He was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth. He is brought as a lamb to the slaughter, and as a sheep before the shearers is dumb, so he opened not his mouth. This is going to be Mark 14, and I'm going to start at verse 60. As it says, and the high priest stood up in the midst and asked Yahushua, saying, answerest thou nothing? What is it which these witness against thee? But he held his peace and answered nothing. Again, the high priest asked him and said unto him, art thou the Christ, the anointed, Hamashiach, the Son of the Blessed? And Yahushua said, I am, and ye shall see the Son of Man sitting on the right hand of power and coming in the clouds of heaven. Right. So when it was in the Most High was getting ready to offer up the lamb, and he was in that time, he didn't use a multitude of words. He didn't go pleading his case to Pontius Pilate. He didn't say these brothers lying on me. He said, hey bro, I am the Son of Man. And when you see me, you're gonna see me sitting on the right hand of the Most High God. Right, you know what I'm saying? Because he knew the prophecy had to be fulfilled. He knew what was said of him, and he was standing his ground, man. He didn't waver. Right, but I yield on that, King.
Hey, while you in Mark, I'll go ahead and get Mark 15:2. Mark 15:2.
Con. I'm gonna start at 1.
Con, go ahead.
This is Mark 15:1. And straightway in the morning, the chief priest had a consultation with the elders and scribes and the whole council, and bound Yahushua and carried him away and delivered him to Pilate. And Pilate asked him, art thou the king of the Jews? And he answered, he said unto him, thou sayest.
Hey man, if you say that, if they say that I am, what sayest ye? You know what I'm saying? What does it say?
He answered and said unto him, thou sayest.
Right.
And the chief priest accused him of many things, but he answered nothing. And Pilate asked him again, saying, answer thou nothing? Behold, how many things they witness against thee. But Yahushua yet answered nothing, so that Pilate marveled. Right? Go ahead, Ak, you got it.
And that's beautiful, man. Sometimes you can confound people when you don't give them the response that they are trying to poke and prod and get out of you, man. That the scriptures tell, not the scriptures, it's another worldly saying, you can kill them with kindness.
Oh, you don't just give them you don't let them see you sweat. You know what I'm saying? That's another worldly, never let them see you sweat. That's another worldly
saying,
a parable, if you will, a saying. Right?
We'll get the next precept.
Psalms 39:1. That's what you want, right?
Come.
Book of Psalms, chapter 39 and verse 1. I said, I will take heed to my ways, that I sin not with my tongue. I will keep my mouth with a bridle. Right? The same way he was saying about that bar around your mouth. And what is that? Sirach 28 and 30, Sirach 28 and 25. Right? While the wicked is before me, I was dumb with silence. I had my peace even from good, and my sorrow was stirred. My heart was hot within me while I was musing, the fire burned. Then I spake with my tongue, Lord, make me to know mine end and the measure of my days, what it is that I may know how frail I am. I'm gonna yield right there.
Come. Right? And this is a bridle right here. Right? If y'all can see what's going on. The bridle, it has a bit in the tongue of in the mouth of the horse. It controls that whole horse. That's a lot of horsepower being controlled by this one little harness right here. So that says a lot about this bridle that this horse has on, man. You got to have a bridle with your tongue, man. It's got to be able, you got to be able to control that thing, right? Because it'll take you somewhere that you don't want to go, man. Right? So you got to bridle your tongue, be not hasty in your speech. I yield with that. We'll get the next precept.
Grab it.
All right, we're going to be in the book of James, chapter 1 and verse 26. James, chapter 1 and verse 26. Salaki, bear with me. James 1 and 26. And it reads thus. Salakia. James 1 and 26, and it reads, if any man among you seem to be religious and bridleth not his tongue,
and what?
And bridleth not his tongue, but deceiveth his own heart, this man's religion is in vain. Right? A lot of times, brothers, in this truth, man, you get real zealous about this thing. Sometimes some arguments is just pure vain. It's not even. You got to understand, the scriptures tell you to argue not much with a fool.
Right.
Roughly paraphrasing. So you got to be mindful of, is this going to be edifying, or are you going to allow these things to consume you? Right? Is this worth my time? Some things are not worth your time. Some things you shouldn't even be speaking on. We're going to keep it rolling. That was James 1 and 26.
Khan, this is, I think you quoted this earlier. You still want to grab it?
The Matthew 5?
Khan.
All right, go ahead, grab it.
Earlier. It's the book of Matthew, chapter 5 and verse 25. Agree with thine adversary quickly. Shalak. Freestyling right now. All right. Agree with thine adversary quickly, whilst thou art in the way with him. Lest at any time the adversary deliver thee to the judge, and the judge deliver thee to the officer, and thou be cast into prison.
Right. If you up here arguing with the ops with 12 when you get pulled up, what the hell you pulling me over for? You going to jail, bro. Right. You in the midst, you behind enemy's lines. You asking for trouble, man. Hey, put your hands on 10 and 2, right? So you can get home, so you can get home to your family, man. Right? Are
you get to acting like an Edomite, bro? They gonna show you that you're not an Edomite.
Come. You say you want to be an Edomite, you go in jail tonight. That's what they gonna say.
Good,
right? Malachi 2, Salaki, Proverbs 8. Give me Proverbs 8 and 7. Right. And we pray that y'all family can, use these precepts, man, to bridle you in this walk, man. Go ahead, Proverbs 8.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 8 and verse 7. For my mouth shall speak truth, and wickedness is an abomination to my lips.
Right. So you got to always speak truth, man. Right? It says, if any man speak in 1 Peter 4 and 11, let him speak as the oracles of the Most High. It also tells you in Isaiah, it says, to the law and to the testimonies, if any man speak not according to these, there is no light in him.
That's right.
Right. So you got to make sure you speaking thus says the Lord. Right. Go ahead, Ak.
All the words of my mouth are in righteousness. There is nothing froward or perverse in them.
And that's why when you speak, hey, give them the precepts, man. Give them the precepts. Now you can't hold me to the charge. You can't tell me that I said. And that's what we be out on the highways and byways. And they was like, no, you said, hey, I didn't say it. I read it. The Most High said it.
And that's the thing what we like to say. Like, I can't say it better than he said it.
Come on.
Right? The way that it's written is written What it's saying? What is that? Romans 15:4.
It's written for our learning.
It's for our learning, right? You know what I'm saying? It's what it said, Isaiah or said 30:7. Go note it and write it in a book for them, for it be for them for a generation to come. I'm roughly paraphrasing. Because the way that it was already written or for we can't improve upon that. It's already perfect, right? So it would make more sense for us to read verbatim, right? Word for word, yield the sword that was already sharpened for us, right? But I yield on that. All right, go ahead.
It was multiple accounts in that in the Gospels when Yahushua come on the scene. He says, "Isn't it not written?" Right?
That's right.
Is it? Didn't Isaiah say this? Right? Didn't Hosea? Wasn't not written in the book of Hosea? Right? Where it says they who were not my people shall be my people. Right? So we got to understand. We got to use the precepts so that we cannot be held accountable, because man is flawed. The word is not. Right? We're going to keep it rolling through the spirit. Next precept is Malachi 2:7. Right?
Book of Malachi chapter 2 and verse 7. For the priest's lips should keep knowledge, and they should seek the law at his mouth. For he is the messenger of the Lord of hosts.
Right. Make sure and that's the knowledge is the precepts. Through the precepts, I get an understanding. Right. Make sure that when you speaking, hey, give them the precepts. Right. We're gonna keep it rolling. Next precept is gonna be Proverbs 17. I'm here. Proverbs 17. We're gonna start at 27. Right. Proverbs 17 and 27. And it reads, it says, "He that had knowledge spareth his words. A man of understanding is of an excellent spirit." This is Proverbs 17 and 27. "He that hath knowledge spareth his words."
So when you have knowledge, when you have knowledge, when you have a good understanding, you don't have to use a lot of words. You don't have to over talk, right? You can say what you mean and mean what you say, right? Go ahead, King.
This is Proverbs 27 and Proverbs 18 and 27. "He that hath knowledge spareth his words. A man of understanding is of an excellent spirit. Even a fool, when he holdeth his peace, is counted wise. And he that shutteth his lips is esteemed a man of understanding."
You see that? When you can bridle your tongue, then you won't, like it said in Ecclesiastes 5:1, you won't get a sacrifice of a fool. Even wisdom is holding your peace sometimes. Knowing when to speak and when not to speak, right? Speaking on things out of turn or things that don't concern you can only, in some instances, display your ignorance or your foolishness. You got to be mindful of that. All right.
That was Proverbs 18 and 27. We got 17 and 27 through 28. The next precept is going to be in the next chapter, right? We're staying in the book of Proverbs. It's going to be Proverbs 18. We're going to start at 4, right? Proverbs 18 and 4. It says, "The words of a man's mouth are as deep waters." Sometimes we are as deep waters, right? And this is double fold, right? On the left-hand side and on the right-hand side. A lot of times we bring in all these precepts out, right? We really bring it to a scoffer or someone who might not have an understanding or think that they have an understanding. And you bring them out, and we call them taking them out into the water, man. We bring them out into this water and see if they can swim. Right. So you got to use the words, you got to use the precepts. So that's what this is talking about, deep waters. Or on the left-hand side, you can be speaking so vainly, you get out there in those waters and you can't swim and get your way back. Right. This is Proverbs 18 and 7. We're going to jump down to 7.
Start at 6.
Proverbs 18 and 6. "A fool's lips enter into contention, and his mouth calleth for strokes." Right. Everything that he say, he just trying to speak just so he can cut or try to beat down or try to he looking for contention. That's what a fool does. Verse 8. Verse 7. Proverbs 18 and 7. "A fool's mouth is his destruction, and his lips are the snare of his soul. The words of a talebearer are as wounds, and they go down into the innermost parts of the belly. Man, a talebearer can cut you to your belly, man. It's just like you can't stomach it, man. Someone who's just backbiting, talking down on you, right? And use it, and they don't have to say much, right? And that's on the left-hand side too, and on the right-hand side. When to keep your mouth shut, that's verbally. A lot of brothers get on the what they call keyboard warriors. You get on here, internet thugs, right? And you using your words, right, when you need to be holding your peace.
Right.
We're just giving you wisdom, family. Right? This is all love. Right? Verse 12.
Where you at?
I'm gonna jump down to verse 12 real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
It says, before destruction, the heart of a man is haughty. Right? The Lord is telling you, hey, this is gonna lead you into destruction. Your mouth gonna get you into a world of trouble. You say, oh, it's another one. Your mouth is writing a check that your ass can't cash.
Mm-hmm.
Look at all of these is precepts, man. Those is worldly saying, but they precepts. They come from the Most High. Said it first, man. He put it in the spirit of men first before we took it and ran off with it and made rap songs and hooks, right? Verse 12. Before destruction, the heart of man is haughty, and before honor is humility. Mm-hmm. He that answereth a matter before he heareth it, it is folly and shame unto him. Right. You got a precept? Go ahead,
La. I got the next one.
Go ahead.
This is Proverbs 4:24. Put away from thee a froward mouth and perverse lips. Put far from thee. Right. So all those, the wickedness of the world, the evil speech, the speaking ill of thy brother, not knowing how to bridle your tongue, not knowing when to hold your peace, not knowing how to choose your words. When you come into this knowledge of truth and you're moving in righteousness, you got to put all that behind you. You got to stop that, man. You gotta, and that's why it says in Isaiah 34:16, you got to open up the book and read. You got to see how we conduct ourselves. Because if you've been conducting yourself like a nigga, once you not nigga no more, you got to see how does an Israelite conduct himself? How do I carry myself as a prince of the power, as a daughter of Zion, right? What are the do's and don'ts? How do I move and not move? What should I say and not say? When should I say and not say, right? Mm-hmm. These things have to be learned, right? You know what I'm saying? You have to unlearn what you think you know and relearn truth, right? So, you had something.
Yeah, that Proverbs 4:24. What is forward speech? What is it to be forward, right? Blue letter, real quick, through the spirit. Right, we got to break these things down. Proverbs 4:24. Right, it says, put away from thee a froward mouth and perverse lips. Put far from thee. Right, what does it mean to be froward? H6 143. Right, distortion, crookedness. Right, you got that crooked speech, right? And that's why we talk about putting off that nigga, man. Right, when you come into, you got brothers still want to, we understand brothers and sisters have accents, hood accents, if you will. Right. Not accents just because you're from a different province, but you could be from a different hood and you got all kind of, you got pig Latin, double talk, right? Crooked speech, right? Distortion. We got to put those things far away from us, man.
That's right.
We're gonna keep it rolling through the spirit. Next precept is you got it?
Yeah, it's the book of Leviticus, chapter 19 and verse 16. Thou shalt not go up and down as a talebearer among thy people, neither shalt thou stand against the blood of thy neighbor. I am Yahweh. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him.
We use Leviticus 19 and 17 all the time, but I never really thought about the verse 16, right? It's saying you being a talebearer, speaking down and talking down on your brother or your sister, right? That's considered hate speech, man. right? A talebearer.
And if you read them, they go hand in hand,
Mm-hmm.
right?
I'm sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure
They
they're doing
literally
fine.
go hand in hand. Being a talebearer is hating your brother or your sister.
Hey, watch this. Talebearer, slander,
Mm-hmm.
slanderer, talebearer. What's this? Informer.
Mm.
Hey, man.
Carry tales.
Good. Right, you got to cut it out. We got to cut it out, man. We got to love our brothers and our sisters, man. Right. Proverbs
26 and 20.
Mm-hmm.
It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 26 and verse 20. It says, where no wood is, there the fire goeth out.
Mm-hmm.
So where there is no talebearer, the strife ceaseth.
You know, that's another worldly saying. You add instigator, man. You an instigator. You add fire to the flame, man. Or in this case, you throwing wood with your words onto the fire so they can become a fire. But the scriptures say, where there is no talebearer, there is no wood.
Hey, there's some heat on this. All right.
Yeah, keep rolling.
It says, as coals are to burning coals and wood to fire, so is a contentious man to kindle strife. The words of a talebearer are as wounds, and they go down into the innermost parts of the belly.
Mm-hmm.
Burning lips and a wicked heart are like a potsherd covered with silver dross. He that hateth dissembleth his lips, and layeth up deceit within him. When he speaketh fair, believe him not, for there are 7 abominations in his heart. So somebody that's always causing strife, contention, and division among the people, even when they bring out the truth, you can't ride with them.
Mm-hmm.
Because they reeling you in to kick up some more madness, right? You know what I'm saying? It's in their nature. They can't stop it.
Mm-hmm.
If they wanted to, they couldn't, right? Verse 26, whose hatred is covered by deceit, and his wickedness shall be shewed before the whole congregation.
And that's a spirit that you got to ask for the Most High, man, to give you discernment, man. Give you a eyes to see when someone has that spirit on them, man. That talebearer, backbiting, envious spirit. You got to pray the Most High give you discernment and a spirit to be able to separate yourself from them, man.
That's right.
Whether it's family, loved ones, co-workers, etc., it don't stop. The scripture tell you, was that Romans 8? We brought it out last time. Hey, neither death nor life, nothing shall separate you from the Most High, man.
Precept. This is 1 Timothy 5. I'm going to start in 19. Against an elder receive not an accusation, but before 2 or 3 witnesses, right? Them that sin rebuke before all, that others may also fear, right? And that's just, let me back it on the point to where it said here, it says that whose hatred is covered by deceit, his wickedness shall be shewed before the whole congregation. You got to bring these things out. You could cause a strife, division, contention. We got to bring it to the forefront. Now, of course, Christ says we have to Matthew 18, of course. But after even Matthew 18 tells you, after you've addressed that person, it steps to it. After you've addressed that person and you brought your witnesses, now you got to bring it to the church. Right? You know what I'm saying? And those things are vital to clearing the air, right? Getting an understanding, making sure that all things are being justified in righteousness, right?
So like, just to add to it before you finish that up, you got to be that person too to let the brothers and sisters know, hey, you're not gonna bring that to my front door. We ain't doing that over here, man. Even with SUC and us as a body, hey, we don't do that over here, man. That's a disclaimer. We just putting that out there. We doing thus says the Lord. Go ahead,
Verse 27. Whoso diggeth the pit shall fall therein,
Mm.
and he that rolleth a stone, it will return upon him. A lying tongue hated those that are afflicted by it, and a flattering mouth worketh ruin. Hey man, that's a cold precept.
Con,
That's a
right.
cold precept, man.
We'll keep it rolling. Proverbs 16 and 27. Right. Proverbs 16 and verse 27. I'm here. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 16 and verse 27. I'm gonna start at woo. I'm gonna
24.
start, I'm gonna start at 23.
Okay.
This is book of Proverbs 16 and 23. The heart of the wise teacheth his mouth, and addeth learning to his lips.
Right.
Pleasant words are as an honeycomb, sweet to the soul and healeth to the bones.
That's why they say the scriptures. It says in Psalms 119 and later in the 100th chapter, thy word is like honey to my lips.
Okay.
Right? You know what I'm saying? This word is sweet when it's being handled and used in the right way. But then when you move in contrary to the word, it cut and it hurt and it burned. Right? You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, King.
Okay. Verse 25. There is a way that seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death.
Right.
He that laboreth for himself, for his mouth craveth it of him. An ungodly man diggeth up evil, and his lips there is a burning fire. All right, we were just talking about that wood, right? You got the my mom used to call it the mouth of the South, man. You got the big mouth of the South, and your lips just can't stop going, man. You just your lips on fire, man. Just rattling off everything that just come to your mind.
Hey, stop at verse 30.
Con. Verse 28, a froward man or a crooked man soweth strife, and a whisperer spreadeth chief friends.
Separated chief friends.
Con, what I Salaki, separated chief friends.
Spread same, right? But yeah, man, somebody whisper, it's always the one person. Y'all cool. You and this brother fine. But as soon as this brother come around, y'all always in contentions. Sister's doing fine. Sister's cool. Sister's dwelling. As soon as this other sister come around, it's always some type of contention. We always hear this person said this and this person said that. And this every time this person come around, it's some type of strife or contention or division. Right? Read on.
Example, man. I have the nephews and my son. It's 4 of them. They over here kicking it. And then my son and the nephew that he close in age with, they aces. But the moment the other cousin come in, and the other it's all contention. I'm like, man, what's going on here? Right? Y'all kick it all the time, but the moment somebody else come in, they could be whispering, and now you kind of being a respecter of persons. We don't. And I'm showing you that, Israel, because they kids. We supposed to be the adults. We can't be moving in the same spirit as they are. Right? We got to.
They like to be in cahoots with people, though. They like to rally the troops to turn on this person or flip on this person or side with that person. Or Jake like to do that, right?
Picking up at verse 30.
29.
This is Proverbs 16 and 29. A violent man enticeth his neighbor.
You see that? A violent man. You enticing your neighbor, and you don't really want to. That's why I don't really fool with them, bro. Because you trying to get somebody on your team. You trying to entice them. That's violence in the eyes of the Most High. Right, go ahead.
And leadeth him into the way that is not good.
And see that you can cause this person to be isolated
to a cliff, man.
Right? You know what I'm saying? And now you isolate this person that's dwelling with no counsel now. You know what I'm saying? Like you cause a wedge division between people to where now they don't know a good voice if they hear it. Right, go ahead.
Jeremiah 23:1.
Con.
Right, real quick. Jeremiah 23:1. Woe be unto the pastors that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pastors, saith the Most High.
Right.
Therefore, thus saith the Lord, the Yahweh of Israel, against the pastors that feed my people, ye have scattered my flock and driven them away. You have scattered my flock and driven them away, and have not visited them. Behold, I will visit upon you the evil of your doing, said the Most High. Even these pastors, man, and they need to shut up. Right? If they're not bringing the whole truth, they need to be quiet, man. They don't need to be speaking. They don't need to be speaking about the Bible. Right? The Lord is telling us that because that's a forward and crooked, and they speak in violence. Picking back up in Proverbs 16 and verse 29. A violent man enticeth his neighbor and leadeth him into the way that is not good. He shutteth his eyes to devise forward things. Moving his lips, he bringeth evil to pass. He kind of closed his eyes and started thinking about how he can, thinking of a master plan. We can yield right there.
Hey, jump to that.
What you want? Verse 32?
Yes, that's what I want. 32.
This is verse 32. It says, he that is slow to anger is better than the mighty. And he that ruleth his spirit.
He that what?
Ruleth his spirit.
You gotta rule over your spirit, man. Because a lot of things can jump on you. A lot of different spirits can hop on you, right? You ever been dealing with somebody and they telling you about a certain instance that went on with them, and now you more damn mad than they was, right? You know what I'm saying? That's that spirit jumping on you, hopping on you. It's overtaking you, that transfer of energy, if you will. You know what I'm saying? This person has caused you to for lesser words, you've taken on their spirit, right? You know what I'm saying? Or the spirit that they came in, right? Somebody in a bad mood come around. I mean, on the left hand and the right hand side, you might be feeling down, and somebody in good spirits come around, and it changed your whole mood, right? You know what I'm saying?
And that's on the right hand side. Hey, Shalom. Somebody who not in this truth. Shalom, what you call me?
Right.
Or you could be on the right hand side. Shalom, that mean peace, man. Okay. Or you never know by the words that you speak. Again, they can speak life and death. You can make somebody's day, or you can break it, man.
Hey, man. Energy is infectious. Bad energy is cancerous. Good energy is healing, right? You know what I'm saying? So if you got the spirit of a talebearer and a backbiter, it's going to be cancerous. Everywhere that you go, when your whole, it's going to be cancerous.
If you got that spirit, man, you got to pray to the Most High, man. He get that thing up off you, man. You got to repent. Right. Next precept. James 3:5. I'm here. James 3:5. We're going to read through 9. James chapter 3 and verse 5. Even so like in James 3:5, even so the tongue is a little member and boasted great things.
Right.
Behold, how great a matter a little fire kindleth. And the tongue
tongue, one of the smallest member on the body, can cause the biggest fire. They can catch and it spread like wildfire. Can't be put out. Right? Destroy a whole kingdom. Destroy a whole family. Destroy a whole body. Right? Go ahead.
James chapter 3 and verse 6. And the tongue is a fire, a world of iniquity. So is the tongue among our members, that it defileth the whole body.
You see that? It defileth the whole body. The whole body has been put to shame through the tongue.
Right. And I will give you an example, like in the ancient world, like some of the old period movies, those war movies, they would get a fox, right? And they would light the tail of the fox on fire and put it in the field. And it'll spread like wildfire. The fox trying to get the damn, get the fire off, all over, you know what I'm saying? And it by that one little fox, it can tear a whole city up, man.
Okay.
Right? Pick it back up in verse 6. And the tongue is a fire and a world of iniquity. So is the tongue among our members, that it defileth the whole body, and setteth on fire the course of nature.
Mm.
And it is set on fire of hell.
Mm.
For every kind beast, right, and of bird, and of serpents, and of the things in the sea is tamed, and hath been tamed of mankind. But the tongue
But
can
what?
but the tongue
But the tongue, right?
can
Go
no
ahead.
man tame.
Mm.
It is an unruly evil,
Mm.
full of deadly poison.
You see that? You can't. The tongue, has this. The swift, like they said in Sirach, the sword has destroyed many of men, but not as many has been destroyed by the tongue. It is a deadly poison, unruly, right? Yeah.
Real quick. James 1:19, right? Same chapter. Same book, right? James 1:19. And it reads, it says, wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear and slow to speak, slow to wrath. Right? You got to be mindful. Like, hey, if you speak right now on something that you don't have a whole conclusion of the matter, you might be in your feelings about it, right? And scriptures tell you to be swift to hear it, but be slow to speak on that thing. And you got to choose your words wisely, man. Even dealing with your children, with your rib, sometimes you can be like, and you can just go there. So you gotta be able to articulate your words.
Right? You gotta rule over your spirit.
Come.
I got one real quick.
Go ahead.
This is Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiastes 7 and 9. It says, be not hasty in thy spirit to be angry, for anger rested in the bosom of fools. Right? So that anger can cause you to conduct yourself in a foolish manner, right? You moving and to the point where you don't even recognize yourself, how you're moving, what you're doing, right? You know what I'm saying? So you gotta be mindful and be slow to anger, as the brother just brought out.
A lot of times, it's a worldly saying, they'd be like, something wrong with that boy, something wrong with him, right? Because he got a heart, and that's us as a nation of Israel, man. We got a heart problem, man. And it starts from within. That's what's going on with us. So now you're just speaking out of it. The scriptures tell you out of your heart, the mouth speaks.
That's right.
Right. So you might be, whatever you feeling, praise to the Most High. He give you the words to articulate what you feeling, so you don't come off to be as a damn little kid with daddy issues. Right. So we're gonna keep it rolling. And a couple more precepts is with the water for y'all tapping in. Pray these are edifying through the spirit. We got Proverbs 25 and 28. Proverbs 25 and 28. Look at Proverbs chapter 25 and verse 28. And it reads, it says, he that hath no rule over his spirit is like a city that is broken down and without walls. Right. So if you can't rule your tongue, man, you're a broken city that's going to be sieged. Right. Anybody can just come in and just break you down. Man. Anybody can just say anything and ruin your day. Or you can say anything to someone and ruin their day too as well. Or you can make it. Right. That's Proverbs 25 and 28. Got one more precept through the spirit.
I got it. It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 18, and I'm going to start at verse 20. Proverbs 18 and 20. A man's belly shall be satisfied with the fruit of his mouth, and with the increase of his lips shall he be filled. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof.
Right, so you can expand on it. I got one more thing.
Hey man, you gotta understand that you can, like we were speaking on earlier, you can really exalt somebody and bring them to life with these words, or you can really, really drive them into turmoil, right? And strip the spirit away from them, right? You know what I'm saying? If it be the Most High will, of course, but you can bring somebody to life with to these living waters using the word, right? From Genesis to Revelation, the scriptures, or you can use these scriptures and completely drive someone away from their nationality, right? The same way they use this Bible to enslave us, and we using this Bible to liberate us, right? You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing, death and life. Go ahead, King.
That's a beautiful point. This is Sirach chapter 37 and 18. Sirach 37 and 18. It says, 4 manner of things appeared, good and evil, life and death. But the tongue ruleth over them continually. Right? There is one that is wise and teacheth many, and yet is unprofitable unto himself. Right? Because you can be speaking these precepts and you can be speaking life, but if you're not applying these things to your walk, hey, you're gonna be unprofitable to your own self.
That's right.
You can be saw as a hypocrite, right? If you're a man in this thing, you trying to bring your household into this truth, right? They can look up someone who on the outside, they can look upon you and say, hey, this brother out here teaching this, but your whole house is in disarray because you're not applying the same thing that you're preaching. That's another thing that they talk about too. The world is saying you got to practice what you preach. Right? This is Sirach 38 and verse 20. There is one that showeth wisdom in words. That's who you want to be. Right? In your speech, you want to say, hey, that brother's wise. Man. That's wisdom right there. I never thought about that. Right? It says, there is one that sheweth words and wisdom and is hated. But you got to be mindful. Hey, when you speak words and wisdom, you're gonna be. How wish I said it? It says, if you follow me and they offer me up, what you think they're gonna do to you? So you speaking in this wisdom. Closing. It says, there is one that sheweth wisdom in words and is hated. He shall be destitute of all food. So with this wisdom, this knowledge and understanding, man, we just pray that our brothers and sisters can be mindful and bridle at their tongue. Don't be out here tail-bearing, backbiting, right, with a forward speech, crooked, slandering your brothers and your sisters, but instead speak life, man, right? Love your brothers to life, man. Bring them back from the dead, because that's what's going on, right? They've only been given death. They've been given false doctrines, false understandings, ideology by man's words. So we got to use the Most High's words and righteousness and how they've been given through the prophets to be able to bring them life, man. Man, I got to get that in closing. Ezekiel 37, the Valley of Dry Bones.
Okay.
Right, Ezekiel 37, because this is what you're supposed to be doing, man, with your brothers and sisters. Ezekiel 37.
7.
Come on, the water. This is Ezekiel 37 and 7. It says, so I prophesied as I was commanded, and as I prophesied, there was a noise, and behold, a shaking, and the bones came together, bone to his bone. And when I beheld, lo, the sinews and the flesh came up upon them, and the skin covered them above. But there was no breath in them. Then said he unto me, prophesy unto the wind, prophesy to the son of man, and say to the wind, thus said the Most High Yahweh, come from the 4 winds, O breath, and breathe upon these slains that they may live. Right? We got to start speaking life to our brothers and sisters, man. If you if you don't got nothing good to say, man, don't say nothing at all, man. Keep your mouth shut. Right? I yield with that, man. It's Brother Nasi with SUC.
Hey, and give your people solutions and not pollution. Right? You know what I'm saying? Make sure you always trying to edify and do better by someone instead of trying to instigate and egg on a situation, right? But with that, like the brother said, we give our honor and glory and praises to the Most High, Yahweh, We do so in the name of his only begotten son, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the elders of the house of David. Mighty Shalom to the saints in the Kadashium scattered throughout the four corners. I'm Brother Shamariah.
Come, Brother Nasi.
Khan. And with that, we say Shalom.
Shalom, shalom, family.